My name's James Nowlin. It's my wife Ann, my oldest daughter Emery, my son Case, and Maisy Nowlin that we just adopted 6/28/22.
This journey started back probably the spring of 2021, and James and I had some time, just the two of us, at dinner one night, and we were talking about sort of what was next for us ministry-wise. We had kind of the last decade had poured our time and attention into mentoring. We were talking about what we were going to do next, and so we just talked a little bit about foster care. Maybe might be something we would like to explore further. We definitely weren't ready to like come back and sign up right away, right? We were, we just mentioned it. 3 or 4 days later, I became aware that Maisy had been born, and I just felt this immediate calling that we should get involved. Well, I actually at first said, like, yes, like this, we want to do this. And then I stopped and I said, I should actually probably talk to James about it first.
So Ann came home one day and she started telling me this story of who this little baby was. She was a sibling of Marley Turman and also Jaden, and told me about Cindy Pitts and her story, and also about Ty. The more I heard about Maisy's story, we would be able to keep her close to her siblings, close to her maternal grandmother, Cindy. They'd be able to attend church together as well, and I thought that was something that would be important. And so, we started to really think about it, or I started to really think about it, and I think had already decided what she wanted to do.
Well, we took some time to pray about it really intently, but I think kind of because it happened so quickly, we didn't really have a lot of time to think, which I think was good, because even in our initial discussions about fostering and maybe adopting at some point, like, you can overthink, and the more you think about, well, what your life is like now, and our kids were older, we could travel, we could go to dinner without arranging a babysitter and all of these things. So the more time you have to think, kind of the more time you have to talk yourself out of jumping into something that the Lord may be calling you to do. So I think the fact that we didn't have a whole lot of time to think about it ended up being a blessing. We just jumped in and moved forward.
We spent a lot of time with Maisy during the initial few months, and then we finally, the juvenile court awarded us guardianship of her, and we were able to take her home in August of 2021. So it's been a huge group effort to get us to this point. Cindy Pitts, the Turmans, everybody at Highland, the church's adoption ministry has been very supportive, and we're so thankful for that. So many people here have encouraged us and supported us. What did you think the first time you saw Maisy?
She was really tiny.
She was tiny. I was excited. I thought she was gonna be amazing to have as a little sister.
My favorite things to do with Maisy are playing with her in her room. I like to pick out her clothes, and she thinks I'm really funny, and I like her laugh. And she really likes to dance.
So we finally got an adoption day, 6/28. It was on the court's calendar for that date, and it was surreal. It seemed, at some points that this day would never come, maybe.
And you spend, for over a year, that's all we thought about was what's the next thing, and our life sort of revolved around this journey. But the judge was great, and just said some really sweet and wonderful things. It was just a sweet day. Early on in this journey, even before Maisy came home from the hospital, she spent several weeks in the NICU. We felt called to this. We felt strongly that this is what God was calling us to do, and we were following His lead. And there were some real challenges in the beginning, and at times it really felt hopeless. You get to the point where you kind of start to doubt if this really is what God wants. Why are all these obstacles showing up? And so you start to wonder, is this what we really are supposed to be doing? Maybe it's not what we're supposed to be doing. And I just remember during that time period, almost every Sunday when we would come to church, it felt like Eric's sermons were like preaching, he was talking directly to us. I don't remember the sermon themes for all of them, but one in particular I do, and I don't think I'll ever forget, and that was the sermon about that he is Lord of the sea that he sends you on.
They've been obedient to his calling in their life, and they have found themselves in the middle of the sea, struggling. And as I go and I enter those times of suffering and difficulty where it feels like I might drown, either I am going to be rescued or I am going to see his glory, and maybe not both, but whichever it is, it's good for me. And so I'm going to go where he sends me, trusting in why he sends me, trusting in the one who sends me, because he and only he is Lord of the sea. He sends me up.
God affirmed us through this whole journey, through people, through other circumstances. And so that day, that was just so encouraging to hear. Just because things are hard doesn't mean that he's not there. He is still there, and he is still in control. The waves may get bumpy and you may feel hopeless, but he is there and he's going to take care of the situation. And so that was so encouraging. And again, I don't think I'll ever forget that just how the Lord affirmed us all the way through, even when we were having doubts. He never had doubts, and he saw us through all the way.
You all look very happy. This must be a happy occasion. All right. Well, I am happy to announce to you, Mr. Nowlin and Miss Nowlin, that you are now the proud parents of Maisy Nowlin. Let's celebrate.
And our extended family that we have gained through this process has been one of our greatest blessings. Of course, Maisy is the greatest blessing through all of it, but just the relationships that we've built with the Termans and with Cindy and their kids. I just feel like our family grew by a lot that day that we decided to move forward, and we're just so grateful. We love her and we love them. And we love this church who encouraged us to even take that step forward, not overthink it, and just get in and do, because that's what God calls us to do. He doesn't call us to be fearful, but to just step out. So Emery actually came up with the name. So our big extended family is called the Perlin family, which is a mixture of Pitts, Terman, and Nowlin mashed up together. So we're very grateful for our Perlin family, and pray that all of our kids will grow closer over the years, and just know how special it is that they have each other.
Before I held you, I knew I loved you. Before I saw you, I was sold out for you. I've been here the whole time.
You always have, you always will be.